It's raining. Guys, it's raining outside. You can't probably see it, but it's raining like really, really hard. It looks probably light for you guys, but it's really like dim and dark. And either way, welcome to a brand new video, guys. My name is RuffledRowlit. How you all doing today? It's a glorious day. It's in the middle of the day, actually. So we are back with a brand new video, guys. We got some rumors to talk about. There's a giant one we're going to read through that's going to literally look like a dictionary. When I saw it, I was like, okay, well, this guy clearly took some time. So honestly, probably sat on the toilet while making it. So we'll read through it. I'm just joking, by the way, but we're going to read through that. Also, in the thumbnail, you probably saw the artwork. Somebody made an artwork for the recently rumored new Pokemon that showed up on 4chan, showing animation for it and whatnot. I still don't know if that's real or fake. I'm still, you know, like, a little bit indecisive on that, you know, subject, but I'm going to talk about a few aspects of it, you know, the actual animation of that thing, that could make it real, but also aspect that could make it fake, and I'm going to look at both sides, because I feel like, you know, a lot of people have, you know, specifically people on Discord have told me, you know, there are aspects of this that are real, aspects that are fake, and I just want to, you know, make sure that I am, you know, straightforward with my, you know, way of looking at things, instead of just being, you know, like, too much on one side, too much on the other side, but being, like, right down the middle and being like, okay, here are the aspects of this that make it real, and here are the aspects that make it fake, you know, at least in my mind, and we'll take a look at both, and namaste. Either way, let's get into the actual first rumor here, ladies and gentlemen, which comes from 4chan. So this was posted on 4chan a moment ago, I guess. It's been like literally, like, I don't know, a few minutes or so, whatever. There's so many rumors, by the way. Like, jeez, man, I can't keep up. There's so many, and I want to just quickly ask you guys in the comment section down below. Let me know if you want to see me keep covering these sort of things, because there's a lot of them, and I can cover all of them. The only problem is, like, if you guys want to see it, that's really the only question here. Do you guys want to see all these things or not? I can keep covering them. I don't mind. I actually think this is this shit is pretty fun because there's so much randomness in it, but it's up to you guys if you want to see it though. So drop a like down below if we can hit, like, I don't know, 1,000 likes. Okay, I'm gonna make it over the top, so there's no way we can actually hit it, but if we can hit like 1,000 likes, then I'll continue doing these consistently, like 24/7, and whenever they pop up. So let's get into the actual information, guys. Now, this person called Jerb here posted that I know there are many people at this time taking advantage to spread rumors. Yes, I mean, you could be one of them. I don't know, buddy. I can't trust you, but nobody knows what to believe. I can't prove that what I'm going to tell you, tell to all of you now, but I can guarantee that E3, after E3, then most of you will be here to charge me for more information about new Pokemon games. So I do not advise you to read this text if you don't like spoilers. So I guess if this is a spoiler, which I can't tell, you know, just get yourself ready for a spoilerino, ladies and gentlemen. So here it is. Here's the long-ass text. This is lanky. Wow, this is huge. Damn. Okay, we're going to zoom in here, guys. This is pretty long, so I'm going to tell you right now. If you can't read it, I'll read it for you guys. It's really thin, but let's get through it, though. So, the legendary of each version are two wolves that were once a single Pokemon. There's nothing of horse or serpent, as some people say. Okay, some people says, now, okay, fair enough. We know that this has been talked about. I've said that I don't believe that we're going to be getting a serpent, you know, that rumor about the armored Pokemon. I've said that I don't believe that one is real in particular, because I don't think we're going to be getting a serpent and a wooden horse. Just feels a little bit weird, but they do also, but the wooden horse and the serpent thing do make sense with lore. So in lore sense, they could be real, but just in, like, execution, how will they pull off a wooden horse? You know, how will they get that point across that it's a wooden horse, or based on a wooden horse, without being too, you know, on that factor of things. So I don't know. I mean, I'm a little bit torn on that one, but who knows? Either way, this guy's claiming that it's not real. The next thing here, there'll be 120 new species of Pokemon. 20 are evolutions of Pokemon from previous generations, including 2 alternative evolutions. Okay, that sounds interesting, to put it, you know, bluntly. There are 2 new evolutions, Dragon and Steel, which would make sense. One to be weak and one to be strong against the, you know, Sylveon from the opposite region, which we assume is next to, you know, the Galar region, which is Kalos, which had, you know, Sylveon, so to say, which is a fairy type, which would be strong against the dragon type, but would be weak against the steel type. So, in all fairness, that would make a lot of sense. I've said this before, that I think 2 evolutions could be possible for these games, because they would make sense with the whole matching up and whatnot. Now, some Pokemon will have reduced stats, others will have a boost, receive a boost. Okay, that is actually interesting. That would make sense, because they do kind of change the stats on Pokemon over time. Which makes sense. No new Megas, which is... wow, okay. That's very... I don't know. I don't know if I would believe that, because Megas were to return sometime in the future. Also, dude, guys, I like this light, man. But, no, Megas were meant to return at some point, right? So I would assume that, I mean, can we trust in this to be not a thing anymore? Will Megas just be left in the past and never receive any more of them? Because they were super popular, right? Megas ended up being, like, really, really lampooned at the beginning, but people loved Megas after, like, X and Y, like, passed and we went to ORAS. People really liked Megas. Majority of people. Like, not everybody, but a lot of people did like Megas. I love Megas, okay? I love Mega Evolutions. I think they're awesome. Sure, they mess up the meta a lot. That's very obvious, but I do think a lot of people like them. So I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, it's a little bit of a iffy one. No new regional forms. Now this is weird because the sources to Stealth 40k were totally telling him, and Stealth 40k does have seemingly like legitimate sources that have good information. We're telling him there's going to be like similar to Alola forms, but Galar forms for certain Pokemon. So I don't know, maybe maybe that was misconstrued, or maybe the information was a little bit back and forth incorrect. I don't know, something might be wrong there, who knows, or maybe this guy just got something wrong. I don't know. Either way, the region is huge. The Galar map has many hidden areas, which I think I agree with, even if this isn't like, if this is a fake rumor here right now, guys, if this is somebody trying to fake, like a fake leak, even if it is this, I think I agree with the factor that this map does have a lot of hidden spaces. Like, when you see the map, right, I think a lot of people are assuming that, oh, it's going to be small, look at the small map, and blah, 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 this and that. But I actually think it's larger than we assume. I think we're going to be able to enter areas that we don't really think about right now, but once we play the games, those areas will be far larger and more explorable once we get in there. I think right now, they really made the trailer very obscure to make you feel like it's smaller than it really is, but I think once we play the games, it's going to be a lot larger, and there's going to be areas that we, in the map look inaccessible, but could be accessible maybe underground, maybe through a forest, maybe through a specific path, who knows, but we'll see. Next thing here, there's a great sporting appeal in this region, which is kind of obvious. This is a mode of racing Pokemon, what? That mounts are still present and will include new Pokemon. I am not sure what that even means. Mounts as in like in Let's Go, where you can mount on your Pokemon and ride it, which I mean I think was pretty awesome in that game, to be able to like fly on Charizard and whatnot. It's pretty sick. In this region, the researcher is a woman named Faya. Faya? Fire Tree. Let's see. Bok. Oh, Book. Oh, Book. Okay, wait. So this is. But wait. Boktree UK, let me see. Would be a B. Betch. Okay, well that's weird. Why would we that? Maybe I'm missing something, but that doesn't seem like a very reminiscent tree to the UK. Maybe I don't know enough. Maybe I don't know enough about that. Maybe I shouldn't say anything because I could be wrong. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem very reminiscent to the UK. Could be wrong. So she gives you an egg at the beginning of your journey that contains a first generation Pokemon that now has new evolutions. Okay, the final evolution of the starters are Muramsha, which is grass ground. Okay, Trituski, which is water dragon, and Palebri, which is fire electric. Okay, these names are freaking strange. They're really hard. Okay, I remember like Decidueye being hard for me to say at the beginning, but like I never had issues with saying Primarina and like Incineroar, right? They never felt that hard. This shit feels hard to say. Like, damn. I mean, maybe these are in different languages or something. I don't know, but who cares? Let's continue, because clearly the person who wrote this seems to have some, English, like English is a little bit off in some areas. Not that I'm gonna sit here and act like I know better English. It's just that I notice in some areas, like it feels a little bit off. But then again, it's not like I'm better. I'm just noticing some of it. Either way, all have signature moves of the secondary type. Palebri uses a very fast electric movement that can move. Okay, that can leave the Pokemon burned. Okay, Tuski, okay, damn, that's hard to say. Uses a dragon move that can reduce the attack, and yes, it's movement here. So I assume this isn't an English speaking, chap. Either way, the attack of the opponent Pokemon. Muramsha use a movement or move that vibrates the ground with a kind of beat that can make the opponent's Pokemon flinch. Okay, alright. The new armored mechanic was created before the reign of Galar went to war against the Kingdom of Kalos. Okay, for some reason Galar had no Megastones. The king disagreed with the Kingdom of Kalos and the land where there are plenty of items, and the King of Galar consulted one of his servants, a kind of alchemist, to create a response to the Mega Evolutions. The man uses a kind of liquid metal that was provided by an alternate form of Meltan. Okay, this metal adapts to the body of the Pokemon that will receive this type of resource. They are not all that support. So, okay, supported. It's only if you receive it. Fair enough. The appearance of the Pokemon does not change drastically, but they take on somewhat of an obscure form, such as Shadow Lugia. Oh, buddy. This is where you instantly lose any credibility. I mean, I gotta just be honest. The moment you mention Shadow Lugia and Shadow Mewtwo, you lose me, dog. You lose me. I ain't up for it anymore. Listen, Shadow Lugia was meant for one game, right? Shadow Mewtwo meant for one type of game. These are not creatures or, forms of Pokemon that are meant to show up in the mainline games. They're meant to stay in their spin-offs and that, those titles. They're meant to stay there. So this is, I mean, is he trying to say here that they're just like kind of like reminiscent to they take on somewhat of an obscure form such as just come on, man, like come on, dude. Are you trying to say maybe that they are similar to Shadow Lugia or similar to Shadow Mewtwo? Sure, but Shadow Lugia and Shadow Mewtwo I don't think will ever be in the mainline games. If they do that, then bloody hell, I will be the happiest little chap in the world. I love Shadow Lugia. My Lugia is my favorite Pokemon. Yeah, I know Rowlit is my mascot, I get it. But my point is, Lugia is my favorite Pokemon. If I got Shadow Lugia, in Sword and Shield, I would literally, like, explode in happiness, okay? I'd be so excited. But here's the point. It's so unlikely. This is just one of those things that, like, the moment you put this in there, to me, this feels instantly poop fake. Just personally to me. I could be wrong, but this is where it feels off to me, because these are like forms of Pokemon that are usually meant to be in spin-offs, right? Pokken, XD Guild of Darkness, Colosseum, etc., whatever. Whatever game we're talking about. When these sort of forms appear in those games, they stay in those games for the most part. They don't really, transcend over to other things. The same way you had like Primal Dialga, which has never showed up in an official, mainline game, which it may do in the, in Generation 4 remakes in the future, but, it hasn't yet shown up in a mainline game, even though it exists in, like, spin-offs and whatnot. But my point is, that's just to me where I lose any faith in this, personally, in this being real, because this is just something that they never do. They keep these spin-off Pokemon in the spin-off games, and they make brand new forms and stuff for the mainline games. Now, if they were to put Shadow Mewtwo in there and Shadow Lugia, holy shit, I mean, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. But the likeliness of it is basically, like, slim, very slim. It's like, if there was any proof of them doing it previously, then I would be definitely, like, believing in this. But since they've never done it before, since Game Freak tends to make their own brand new forms rather than using, stuff from spin-off games, it just seems very unlikely. So I'm sorry if my reaction was a little bit off the top, but you gotta realize, right, I see a bunch of these rumors all the time, and that's the sort of stuff that always gets me a little bit like, I ain't believing your shit, dog. But either way, so many Meltans can combine together and take on a grandiose form that in crop circles, the process is similar to Zygarde and its cells. Okay, well that would actually be cool, because that makes sense if we saw the crop drawings and whatnot. You saw Meltans around the big dragon looking thing, or the big Melmetal looking thing, which does make sense, collecting them together the same way you collect Zygarde cells. Fair enough, it's a feature that I wouldn't be surprised if it was real. Another mythical of this generation will be another mythical? Am I missing something? Because I didn't see a mention of a first mythical. Maybe I missed it. But I didn't really see a mention of a first mythical. I just saw a mention of a legendaries at the top here, and no mention of a mythical as far as I can tell. But okay. So mythical of this generation will be a fairy/dark Pokemon that appears in a species of ring of mushrooms in the forest. This will be cool because there is that forest up in the in the upper corner of the map, the little like Alice in the Wonderland-esque looking area. His appearance is humanoid. He has a strong relationship with the legendary cover art. In the past, the King's Alchemist of Galar used the wolf Pokemon to do the experiments in order to develop the method of armored evolution. The first experiments left the Pokemon very weak. The mythical then evoked the legendary third and begged for help. Okay. The Chinese dragon that we see in the tower is this Pokemon. So the wolf Pokemon did not, end its misery. He divided it into two. This was also a way of always reminding people that the consequence of their actions. For this reason, the mythical Pokemon began to despise human beings. Some people in the area consider the Pokemon to be bad because of the events that happened are said to have been triggered by it. Fair enough. AZ Floette will be present in the games. The flower it carries is an extinct species. The elixir produced by this flower is capable of bringing people into the past through a projection. This is how it will make you witness the war that happened 3,000 years ago. In this vision, you will see one of the villains manages to make people disagree, and you will see a Pokemon Crucial that will help you to end the conflict. The villain team wants to start... The villain team wants to start a civil war in the region and then expand to others. The goal is global domination while promoting collective hysteria. Well, that's very strange. Okay. This intention is to divide people and have... and how to act on both sides. People are destroying themselves, and they thrive by extracting resources they want to keep in powers. There are 5 influential families in Galar. Members of the villain team infiltrate all of them. Each is responsible for having developed activities in the region. Each was known for improving agriculture, metallurgy, technology and textile industry, and energy production. Each family provides the other part of their abilities for the region to function well, and this is threatened by when they begin to disagree. The gyms are stadium-shaped, but the camps change according to the type. Inside, you will have 4 to 8 trainers. The difference is that online mode won't be NPCs. You'll battle people in the real time, and you're gonna have to beat them to access a gym leader. Yeah, that just seems a little bit. I mean, would they really do that? I mean, it's a cool thing, right? It would be really cool, but it would also make it really hard for, you know, if some, you know, let's say in the future when nobody's playing this game online anymore, or if like and online goes down, this would literally like make the game somewhat impossible to play if there are no NPCs to take that, you know. Okay, so there is, oh no, this is online mode, so it's separate. Sorry, I misunderstood. So the online mode won't be NPCs. Alright, so if you play this in online, you'll be able to actually, fair enough. Okay, that actually sounds cool. And the access gym. But remembering that that is totally optional. This has been a freed up resource for those who want to feel more challenged. In this mode, the levels of Pokemon are matched, as in the battles we already know. The Pokemon number will also be preset. Each gym has its own rules. There are other giant men like AZ. They play a big role in the story mode. Gym leaders, now known as gym masters, okay, I see you saw that tweet, are considered celebrities. People in the area simply love them. They all have connections with the royal families of Galar. In these games, they will have more impact than any other. Okay, there's one member of the Elite Four grass type and another ground. The champion is known as the princess. Okay, the champion. Okay, well, gotcha. The graphics are more beautiful than you might think. They were made for great monitors and incredible cutscenes. I'm not sure what the great monitor spot means, but okay, let me just give my input on this right away. This is a long video already. I told you it's going to be a long one. I don't think this is real. Now, first of all, the Shadow Lugia thing, that's where for me, based on like, listen, I'm just taking, hear me out, right? I know most of you guys want this to be real. I agree. This sounds freaking amazing. Shadow Lugia, every day, brother, every day I want it. But here's the thing. They've never done it before. Game Freak just doesn't want to take stuff like that and put it in their games. They prefer to just, you know, be like, okay, if we want to make a new form, we'll make it. We, Game Freak, will make it. We won't let these other people decide for what we're going to put in here. We'll make it. And, I mean, when I think back, I can't remember a single time where a brand new, like, crazy form, like Shadow Lugia, Shadow Mewtwo, whatever, has ever been directly taken from a spin-off game and shoved into the mainline games. Now, maybe I'm misunderstanding what he's trying to get across here. Maybe he's just trying to say that it's in the style of, you know, Shadow Lugia or in the style of Shadow Mewtwo. Maybe, you know, and if that is true, if it's meant to be in the style of those Pokemon, then 100%, I think this will make a lot, like, this straight up, I think, would be, like, totally logical, like, 100%, totally logical. But, again, I'm very torn on the subject. I'm very torn on the subject, and I don't know what to say. I'd love to know your opinions on this, though. I think this has a lot of potential, because there are some good things in here, but I think, mainly for me, the thing that just kind of puts me off from this one is the Shadow Lugia and Shadow Mewtwo thing. That's where I feel a little bit off. Because if, you know, maybe, again, I'm hoping I misunderstood it, and that maybe he just, you know, I misunderstood the way I was reading it, or maybe he miswrote it a little bit, and that he means just that it's gonna be in the style of those two, but not actually a Shadow Lugia and Shadow Mewtwo from previous Pokemon games, you know, spin-off Pokemon games. Maybe I'm hoping I've misunderstood it, but who knows? If he means what I think he means, which is that we're gonna get Shadow Lugia, Shadow Mewtwo, I'm hoping he's right. I'm actually hoping he's right, dude. I do think no new Megas is a little bit boring, and no new regional variants is a little bit boring, but I mean, 120 new species of Pokemon, brother, if I can get that, I don't care. And Armored Evolutions on top of that, you know what? Armored Evolutions don't sound too hype, but, I mean, whatever. I'll take it. My point is, I'm looking at this objectively. I'm trying to be as objective and, you know, look at this from several lenses. And one way, it looks really interesting, and some parts would make a lot of sense. Other parts, though, make no sense. Shadow Lugia, you know, Shadow Mewtwo being one of those. Either way, I'd love to know your opinions on it, guys. Now, let's jump over to the next one here, which is going to be this right here. So we already talked about this little bad boy, and it's going to be the shorter part of this video, this side part of this video, which is, of course, this little mofo. So let's just start with this. I originally, when I looked at this, I thought this was, you know, real when I first saw it. I thought it was real, okay? But then the more I looked at it, the more it started feeling fake. Now, I'll go through the parts that I think make this fake, and the parts that make this real to my brain, okay? Let's start with the aspects that I think make it real. So let's start with this, right? The animation is pretty well done, okay? It's very fluid, right? It looks very fluid, but also, there are issues with the animation, but I'll get to that later. It looks fluid, right? But there are also issues with it. Also,
another thing is that if you look down at the legs here, and this was pointed out by one of our viewers named Luna pointed out that if you look at the legs of this Pokemon, you'll see that there are details within there. It looks like eggs, right? It looks like little eggs or little balls, like glowing balls inside of there that are glowing and whatnot. And also, another thing that you may not notice from this perspective, but you will see it in the bottom right here, is that there's actually a UI that says 21 and says, I think, female typing right there, and also a little fight, fight button over here. Now, the thing with these here is that the actual health bar on the left side looks like the one from Sun and Moon, but the fight bar on the other side, though, looks like the fight bar from Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. So there is a chance that this could be real based on the fact that those two right there could be what the, kind of combined version of those two UIs ends up looking for, Sword and Shield, because the problem is we haven't seen the UI for Sword and Shield. Then we could have easily, compare these two, but since we haven't seen that, it's hard to tell. So yeah, in terms of that, it makes a lot of sense. Also, another thing that was brought up is the fact that this is a very unique design, okay? Let's just put it like that. It's a very unique design, okay? Also, somebody in my Discord pointed out that this is based on a UK, bug called the Peanut... I think it was Peanut, like, I can't remember. Peanut Dragon or something? Like a Peanut Dragon bug or something like that? I can't remember, guys, okay? Like, it was something peanut, okay? Peanut related. Which, it does look similar to the actual creature that I think they were sent to me here. This is what they were talking about. This thing right here. It's very similar. Honestly, it's got that same bumpy kind of design to it, which is very, very similar. And it wouldn't surprise me if this thing definitely is something that exists within the realm of, what's it called again? In the realm of the UK, or in the UK itself, then it would make sense. Now, those are some of the aspects that make it real. Sure, the design is definitely unique. The little egg parts down there, very unique kind of concept to go for, and they look pretty clean. The animation and the, the actual, rigging looks pretty fine, but there, and of course the UI as well is another aspect. Now, the part for me where I get a little bit confused is that if this has clearly been filmed with a camera, right? Like this has been filmed with a camera, so it's hard for me to tell based on the camera recording if this is real based on the, how the textures look in the background, because the textures look off in the background. I'm gonna be honest right now, the textures and the shadow look very off. If you compare this to normal, like other gameplay we've seen, real proper confirmed gameplay which we saw from the trailer, if you compare to that, I'll show you a little bit of a difference right here. Give me a second. But there is a comparison I want to show you, which is definitely worth bringing up, because it kind of it shows you a lot more for sure, so that we can kind of break them down a little bit better. So yeah, give me just a second. I'm gonna bring it up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So if we look at the background here, or like an actual battle sequence right here, in these games, you'll notice there's a little bit of a here we go. Right, boom. So here it is, right? First of all, the shadows on these ones are a little bit more blurred out. This one is actually a little bit clearer, if anything, but it's also a lot thicker in terms of shadows versus these ones. Also, another thing is the textures in the background. Again, if this was filmed with a camera, there's a high chance that this was poorly filmed, so that's why it doesn't look as good. Also, there is the little glowing little gems here, which glow way too much. Like, the actual glow on them is really just weird and strange. But again, if this is filmed with a camera, that's just how maybe it ends up looking like. Another thing is that the UI seems like, if you look at the size of a Switch, right, it seems like it's a little bit too close to each other for the length of the Switch screen. Almost that's how I'm feeling, unless there's the health bar goes really far to the left here. But when I'm measuring it here, when I see it like this, it just feels like it's a little bit too much. Maybe it needs to be a little bit more to the left. But again, that's not enough to prove it that, it's real or fake. So, in all fairness, though, as pointed out by people, there are aspects of this that make it look real. For example, the general style of it, the little spikes here you see, the overall design. Another thing that I will mention about the animation is right here when it opens its mouth. The opening of the mouth is very short, which is strange because usually and it's not a very right there. See, it's not a very fluid animation. It may seem fluid, but it's very short. You know what I mean? Right there. And also the eye closing. Not very... See, too quick. It was too quick. Too quick in my opinion. Which I think they don't tend to... Game Freak tends to be a little bit smoother with that. I've noticed. I think we can even see it in, in the trailer right here a little bit. If we just go back, a tad. That, the animations are slightly... they're slightly more fluid and, a little bit slower. Whereas this one isn't as, just doesn't have that same fluidity. But again, this was filmed with a camera, so... Who knows? And also, we don't know what frame rate this game is going to run in, so I can't really tell based on that. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to know what you guys think about this. Personally, I am I'm unsure right now. I first thought it was definitely fake. After looking at it for a bit longer, I thought it was fake. But now, thanks to viewers that have been telling me that, you know, there are aspects of it that I should, you know, keep in check, it definitely is harder for me to tell what I think about it. It's like, honestly, at this point, I don't even know. Honestly, it's I'm really torn. There are aspects of this that make me feel it's fake. Definitely a lot of aspects of that. There are also aspects of it that make it feel like it's real. So I don't know. I want to know your opinions though, guys and girls, in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. My name's been RuffledRowlit. Have yourselves a great day, ladies and gentlemen, and I will catch you all in the next video. Oh, actually, wait, one more thing, guys. If you guys want to support the channel, you can go to the Patreon. If you want to pick up the shirts, we still have shirts on sale. Check those out. Either way, thanks so much for watching. My name's been RuffledRowlit, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.